Alright, I'm out here at a buddy's house today working on an 06 Honda Accord EX, and we've got a wheel speed sensor that went bad. Now I brought a wiring diagram and everything, and I'll put this in the description just in case you have other problems, but we did find the problem, so let's go take a look. There's a close-up of the harness. We'll pull it out here in a minute, but I did bring a scan tool because I was going to read live data, but I don't think we need to read live data. Looks like, did you have a shop work on this at some point? They might not have reconnected the bracket. This looks like a bracket that would maybe go right here to keep the harness from rubbing, and it was not bolted back on. So we're gonna have to find something to bolt this back down, but you can definitely see frayed wiring. This is a problem. This is where we're going to start. So I was going to put a link in the description for this picture here of this wiring diagram. However, ChatGPT was able to pull this wiring diagram somehow from behind a paywall. So I'm unable to link it without you going and paying for this wiring diagram. So therefore, I don't know for certain that this is the wiring diagram as well for this vehicle. So just a little caveat there. Now, essentially what I was going to do, you see the two wires marked with the red arrows. I was going to disconnect that connector, this one right here that I'm showing on the screen, on the passenger side wheel well. And if you look to the left of those two wires that are marked the blue and brown wire, that's your left wheel speed sensor connection, and that will be on the driver's side. I was going to disconnect that connector, which is going to look virtually identical to the one that we're showing on the screen, the right position. And I was going to run jumper wires from the white and pink wire on the right front wheel speed sensor over to the brown and blue wires on the left wheel speed front sensor. Then jack the vehicle up on the front and spin the left front wheel. That would prove that the wheel speed sensor was functioning properly, or disprove, it would tell you that it wasn't working. But then that would let me know that I need to go and look at that pink or green wire and ring those out and make sure that they have continuity from the ABS module to the wheel speed sensor. Now stick around at the end of the video and I'll show you how to use the Foxwell to see the live data on these sensors. You do the same with the wires from the left front sensor to the pink and green wires. Then I could actually take it and run the scan and see if the problem follows over to the left-hand side. Would essentially be just like swapping the sensors side to side, which, as you'll see later in the video, I probably could not do that because I destroyed them getting them out. All right, so what I did to find this bolt, he ended up having a little spare, but I pulled this bolt out and then set the threads right on each other and they matched up, so perfect. And now what I've done is sprayed a little bit of WD-40 into this hole and on this bolt, and then ran it in and out a couple times. He didn't have a rethread kit or a tap, so sometimes, if you don't have a rethread kit, I would recommend having one. I have one at home, but if you don't have one, what you want to do is just take it and run it in slow. And when it starts to bind up, like right now, I'm kind of do it with my fingers so you can kind of see it's not really binding super hard. Now if I was really pushing with multiple fingers, then I'd want to stop, back it off, spray a little bit more WD-40 in there, and then slowly keep working it in and out, and then you prevent it from breaking. Now the other thing, when you replace this bolt, that you've got to be mindful of, what you want to put on the bolt is a flat washer. You just found an old corroded one, and then this is a lock washer, this little split that's going to keep this bolt from backing out. So we've got a setup to put it back together. We're going to go ahead and start taking it all apart. Alright, there's another little bracket up under here, like this one that this supports here. Okay, and then we're going to take the bolt out that goes there. So I'm just going to take my nut and thread it on there so I don't lose it. Alright, this is the sensor location. This is a 10mm, both of these have been 10. Man, break that off for you. Oh. And I'm really hoping that this puppy is not seized in here, or we're gonna have a fun day because I did not bring my axle socket. So, sir, Harbor Freight anywhere? Really? All right, well, we may be going for that, hopefully not. All right, so the harness, you follow it up and to this little white grommet thing here. Go in the engine bay. All right, you come in here right next to the strut. There's a little orange connector right there. And we're gonna pop that off. All right, I got the connector off, and when I get it out, I'll show you how I did it, but it's not easy. I was just reaching in from this side and pulling. And then there's another, you can see where my flashlight is, barely, right there. There's another little, the camera cut off, but there's another little clip that supports the harness right here that we're gonna have to get off. And you can see there's a green clip here. Let's see if I can get it on camera. There's a green clip here supporting the harness, and the rest of that harness goes up into a harness bundle up here, and then goes the ABS computer. But you can see that second clip, and that's the green one that's above where the harness goes in. Now there's another one right over here, and it's tough to get to because it's kind of behind the spring. So I'm gonna have to reach in there with some pliers, probably from above, and kind of squeeze it and push it through. I need to get to, it's right in here. So get your flashlight like under here, further over here. There it is. Okay, leave it right there. And I don't know if I'm gonna get this on camera. It's really tough just to get to it alone. Oh, come on, baby. Oh, I had it and then it friggin' popped back up. Okay, there we go. All right. And take you in here. It's tough to see, but I've got it pushed in enough. And I'm just gonna go ahead and push it through the hole. All right, we're good. All right, in this, I took a pick and just kind of got under that little clip to start it here, and then I'm gonna grab it up here as well. Just push the pick in, and then I'm just gonna grab this harness and pull. Yeah! You're gonna love that one. All right. All right, so this is how I took this piece out. I grabbed my pick in here and just pushed this little tab up, and then pulled it out enough to where I could pop the other one out and then pull the whole thing out. You have to just kind of do it one at a time. All right, so then the other thing, so in order to get this connector off in the engine bay, I had to push this little tab. Obviously, it brings this little piece up like any other connector. Whoops. Push this little tab, brings this little piece up like any other connector, and then pull it out. And then this was the other thing I was kind of fighting through the strut, and I just used some needle nose pliers, and I squeezed it just like that, and then pushed it through the little, there's a little tiny hole up there, I'll show you in a second, and I pushed it through into the engine bay. So, all right, now we got the rest of this hanging down. So now you can see the little hole right there. It's right above where my flashlight keeps kind of going, and then obviously the big hole where the harness came through. All right, so this new harness does not come with this other little clip. See it right here? And I mean, as we saw from up here, you really want to support your harness. So what I'm gonna do in order to get this off, this is like a little one-time use zip tie thing that they use. Whoops. I'm gonna pinch that. Okay. All right, so you can see the zip tie end up here, and then this is the little clip that retains it right there. And so what I need to do is get a little bit of pressure back here to pull while I take this little zip tie clip and drop this down. Now I can probably just take my fingernail and shove it a little bit while I've got pressure on this. So you can see I'm moving this through. This is starting to come. Ah, come on. You can do it. I know you can. Alright, we're going to take a flat blade and we're going to put it behind here to give it a little outward pressure. And then we're going to grab the little clip. And while we do that, there we go. Just carefully worked it off of there. Okay, so this is the little thing. If you look at a zip tie, this is the little thing that actually grabs. I'm going to be careful with this. These little teeth that are on here. So really any zip tie you can grab, you can take a pick or a flat blade and go in and grab this little thing and pull it down and unlock the zip tie. So now we can transfer it to the new one. So here's our old one. And we can kind of put it back roughly where it was on the old one. And we should be good. Let's see. Just making sure we don't have to swap over anything. This looks like it's about the same. And then how far down are we? Now this old one had a little bit more connector. So we'll just put this on and we'll leave it a little loose. And I'm just going to take it and twist it and feed it in there. Okay. And it's coming through a little. But we don't want to tighten it just yet. In order to snug it all up in case I forget to show it on camera later, I'm just going to come in and squeeze it with my pliers, and that's going to push it through a little bit more, but it's already grabbing and engaging. It's not going anywhere. It's going to be tough even. We'll probably have to take some the WD-40 and spray it on, or a little bit of soapy water, and then that'll allow us to move it around. But we've got it on the new one. Now to tackle the tough part, getting this out of the knuckle. Alright, this is it's gonna be fun here. I sprayed a little WD-40 on here, and I'm taking a little screwdriver, and you can kind of see the fluid working its way under it and squeezing in and out when I'm doing that. I don't know if the camera is able to pick that up or not, but I'm kind of trying to work some lubricant underneath it. I wish I had some penetrating oil, my favorite mouse milk, but I don't. Alright, and unfortunately this little piece broke on the sensor here, so we may need to take the axle nut off and the spindle and everything, and then pop it back through and clean that hole. To get this axle nut off, we got an 1¼ inch socket. It's probably, I don't know what the conversion is millimeter wise, but then we found this is a cheater bar. And I already broke it free. It was not fun. Put this on the end of it, and it made a good popping noise. It's not going to do that now, but I just needed a little more leverage than this 1/2 inch should give me. I just tell it action. All right, take this puppy off. Again, we'll thread the bolt back on there so we don't lose it like someone else obviously did. All right, and then where'd my 17 go? Did I leave it on it? Yeah. All right, and then I'm gonna use a 17mm socket to get caliper off. Do you by chance have anything to set the caliper on, a bucket or even a hook or something to hang it? I like this ratchet, buddy. What is this? Heart? That's a Harbor Freight one, isn't it? Heart?
Walmart.
Oh, is it? The teeth on it are pretty good.
It might be Harbor Freight.
I think Heart is. All right. Oh yeah, you got a hook. All right. Now for the caliper, we're gonna take this little hook and put it up here. And we'll hang the caliper off of it. I want to get that hose so it's not getting crushed by anything. All right, and then we'll take this rotor off. He doesn't have the screw on the hub anymore, so that makes it easy. Or not. There we go. Set that over there. All right, hopefully we can get to this puppy without having to take the axle much further than this. All right, we got the axle nut off and the rotor off. He's in the car and he's gonna turn the wheel to the side. What we're gonna try and do is get this axle out far enough that I can see the sensor.
Is that far enough?
Give me a second. Oh yeah, I think so, buddy. I can see it.
Is that good?
Yes, sir, you can leave it there. Thank you. So inside of here, I'm able to see that little piece. It's right here by my finger. I can't tell if, because of where the camera is, can't tell if you can see it. Right there. Okay. Right there. So what we're gonna do, Jason, do you have a punch or anything like that, or if you have a piece of, I prefer brass, but it doesn't really matter at this point. I might even be able to take these needle nose and do it. All right, this is one of those things that it's very delicate work, and I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get the camera in there too, but I'll show you what I did when I get done. I'm gonna use an extension because I don't have a punch. I'm gonna try and put this end against it here and hold it and then tap it out. And I don't want to shatter the sensor. It's already starting to kind of crack. It may shatter. These can get to a point where they're so seized in there that you just have to get it out in a bunch of pieces. Do you have a drill by chance too? And a bunch of different drill bit sizes?
Yeah.
Okay, because I may end up just shattering this puppy out into a bunch of pieces and then just drilling the hole, opening the hole back up. You know what I mean? To clean the walls off. Ooh, there it goes. Bunch of pieces there. Alright, so you can see I did what I didn't want to do, and it's a bunch of pieces, but it is what it is. I'll have to make sure I clean it all out. Jeez, I'm just breaking it into a bunch of pieces. Nice. That thing's done. All right, and this stuff, I'm just gonna end up destroying it, just literally just breaking it into a bunch of pieces. I just hit it with a hammer. I'm probably gonna end up cutting it right here and just drilling it out. All right, so we're stuck with a wire and a little bit of plastic, and I'm just gonna beat the rest of that out and run a drill through it and clean it all up. All right, so what we've got left in there, about up to here is about all destroyed. It just fell apart. Sometimes you can hammer on them and it'll push the whole thing through, but it didn't work this time. Oh well. But this is basically what we're stuck with. About from here to here is stuck in that hole. So all we gotta do is hammer it through, break it apart, use a drill, whatever you need to do just to get it out of there. And then we're gonna have to clean up the hole anyway. So I'm gonna try and find a drill that's about this size. I don't have a set of calipers, so we're gonna have to eyeball it. And what happens is the metal around this on that knuckle, it gets rusty. Water works its way down in here and it swells. And there's probably rust in between all these little pieces, especially right here and right here. And it's just holding this in here, it's locked in here. So it doesn't really matter if you go too much oversized. You don't want to go crazy oversized, but a little oversized isn't gonna damage it. All right. So I'm just taking a drill and just slowly drilling on it and trying to stay in the center. It doesn't really matter. I just need to get some relief through here. All right, so I've drilled into it a little bit and I took the drill bit off. Now I'm gonna try and punch it through. I'm gonna try and do this off camera. All right, so you can kind of see I got the drill bit all the way through. There's a little bit of plastic remaining. I'm gonna try and break up that plastic with a little punch he has. It's gonna be tough. I wish I had a longer one. This is very much one of those jobs where you just keep trying different stuff until you get it. So don't give up. All right, and I don't like doing this, but I don't have a choice. I bent the heat shield back a little bit. I've got to bend it back when I go back, but I'm gonna take a drill and I'm just gonna drill all this crap out. I'm gonna slowly go up in size. All right, so I just slowly started working my way up in drill sizes. This is, what is it, big size, 11/32. And all I did was slowly start working it through. Now you're drilling through plastic and metal. The plastic's gonna lose every time. So you can see I just cleaned up the hole with the drill, and we've already test fit the sensor. The sensor goes right in, drops right in, so we can keep moving. All right, so we got this hole all cleaned up. I'm gonna wipe it all off, and then we'll go ahead and put the sensor in. So the sensor just goes right in that little hole. I'm gonna slide this in there and line it up. And you just want to make sure it goes all the way down and seats against the knuckle all the way. So if you have drilled through here, you want to clean all this out. You don't want stuff inside of this bearing area, but you just want to look and make sure that you didn't have any spots where you like messed up the shield in here, the dust shield, and the sensor is going to hit it. So I'm just going to do that real quick. All right, next thing I'm going to do is just go ahead and start the bolts. I'm going to start that one. I'm going to start the one up there and this one up here. All right, so I went ahead and threaded this on. I'm just going to put the harness on. These little clips right here go into these little bores. There's another one, a little hole right here for this one, and it aligns in that little tab there. So then I kind of just threw this up in here. All right, so then on this side you're gonna have the harness coming through, and then the first thing you gotta get aligned is this little nub here, this little thing that we swapped over. I don't know if I can get this on camera either, but it's just gonna go into the little hole and push in real easy. And then we gotta hook up the harness. Okay, and this harness is tough to get on here, but just keep working it. Okay, and the harness is hooked up. All right, See if you can see a little better through here. I don't know. Maybe. I went ahead and tightened the bolt down here, tightened this bolt up here, this bolt, and then I went ahead and bent the heat shield back, and all I did to bend it was just grab it right here and pull. You can do that a couple times. You don't want to do it a bunch, and you don't want to do it very often, because once this heat shield cracks, you're going to take this whole hub off in order to change it, and that's no fun. The hub, the whole bearing's got to come out. So I've done those and they are not fun. So what I did was just push it back, and you can kind of see it looks like it did before. It was kind of bent here and here. It was kind of bent out, but it's kind of one of those things that we're going to get the rotor on, and we're going to see if we need to move it any further. But all right, we're going to put the rotor on after we get this hub bolt put back on. So let's put that on. You said you don't have you don't have a torque wrench?
No.
All right, we don't have a torque wrench, so we're just gonna give this some ooga doogas. I don't really like doing that with a wheel bearing. Whoa! And don't use one of these, because, yeah, it's not very stable.
For a jack.
Right. All right, that's pretty good. And then, so you probably want to get a torque wrench, dude, and take the wheel off and retorque it. You can do that with, you can actually just take the center cap out. We can take it out and leave it out. The rotor on, and he's got the screws here. We want to align this where the screws are, because this one actually sits out, sits proud. So normally I wouldn't say it would matter, but with that screw sitting out and proud, it could cause this, if it doesn't have space for it to come out, it could cause the rotor to be not concentric with the hub. I don't know where my little rag went. Did you give me a rag over there? Thanks, brother. So one thing to keep, I was mentioning on there, one thing to keep aware of right here is if you take this rotor off, your screws are stuck in here. So you can either drill them out, or you just got to make sure that this aligns back with these holes. Otherwise, the hub, this face of the hub right here, see how it's got an impression here? Mm-hmm. Somebody tried putting it on without it in a line. You can actually see that. Whoa, that's heavy. But yeah, you can see the impressions of it trying to drive them through. So we want to align them where the holes are for the hubs, or take them out. I don't have an easy out to take them out, or I'd drill them out real quick. So what we're going to do is this. And if you did that, that could actually cause your rotor to warp, because it's going to give more pressure, let's say on this side of the rotor, and less on this side, so it's going to unevenly heat when you brake. Not to mention it's not in the same plane as your axle, so it's actually, as it's spinning, it's actually kind of doing one of these numbers as it's spinning this way. So that's going to wear your pads unevenly and wear your rotor unevenly and cause a hell of a vibration, even that little tiny bit. So, all right. Do you have brake cleaner? Mm-hmm. Do you? All right, I'm going to clean off this rotor. All right, anytime I'm working with brakes, break out the brake cleaner, wipe your rotor off. Whoa, seems like it's smearing more dirt. I don't want to install it with a bunch of fingerprints all over it. Mm-hmm. There we go. All right. And I can actually take one of these lug nuts. Maybe the ones that the acorn passes, or the bolt passes through, are better for this. But there we go. and that'll keep the rotor, the hub, concentric. Now if the other side was up in the air, I could actually kind of show you that, and I could spin the rotor and you could watch the rotor as it's spinning. It's doing one of these numbers. If it's true and it's flat against this hub, it's going to spin and you're not going to notice it wobbling at all, and that'll be the warp that you feel. And it's artificial warp, usually by somebody doing it wrong. It's not really that it's warped, it's that the hub isn't sitting flush with it. Okay. Oh, I need your 1/2-inch drive ratchet still.
The what?
Your 1/2-inch drive ratchet there.
I thought it was still on here.
It is, it's right there.
Oh.
Would you mind grabbing that for me? You take the socket off. Thanks, sir. Get both of them on. Snug them up. Normally I would torque something like this. All right. All right, and then this just goes on here like this. Okay, and now I'm just going to double check that everything's tight, because we're going to put it back down on the ground, put the wheel on, put it back down on the ground, and take it for a test drive. Once you've torqued it, what you're supposed to do is you can see this little cutout in the axle here, right on the bottom here. Mm-hmm. You're going to take a punch. Sometimes I've even taken a flat blade screwdriver. Just make sure it's the style, not that that you can actually hit, because you want to take that, put it right there, and then hammer it. A punch is the best thing. Hammer it into there, and that keeps the nut from backing off. So I'm not going to do that until you torque it. All right, we're going to just go over and look real quick. I've got that bolt tight, that bolt tight, that bolt tight. That's through and connected. Caliper bolt. Hose is tight. This isn't bound or anything like that, or twisted. He's cleaning up. All right, and then we've got the sensors connected, and then the little harness is secured in there. And I think we're good to go. You can kind of see the harness right there. Get you another view of that sensor as it comes through the firewall there. That's the sensor that I disconnected, or the connector that I disconnected. And then to the left there, that is the little piece that we swapped over from the old harness. So I'm just looking from the passenger side now, like that. All right, we're ready to put the wheel back on. We looked everything over. Good to go. And my heat shield, I double checked it. It's not rubbing on anything. So really on the heat shield on the rotor, you just want to make sure there's space between the rotor. It doesn't have to be a lot, just enough. Okay. All right, now we can bring the car down. Well, it sure sounds like it's rubbing the heat shield, don't it? All right, I found it without taking the wheel off. It was down here in the corner. The heat shield had moved against the rotor. Now it's clear. We'll go ahead and bring it down. And we're in the car. We got scan tool plugged in. We're gonna go down to ABS, airbag, hit enter. This will be Asia. And we want Honda. All right. It's been a little while since I've done one of these, so smart VIN just goes in and tells you the VIN. No, I think that actually decodes it and go from there. We'll see. Is it good to start?
What?
There's nothing in the engine bay that prevent me to start, right?
No.
Alright, I'm just gonna go ahead and start it. I don't see any lights on this thing. Oh, we finally got this up. Alright, so it's coming up with all the information on the car. I'll hit F2 for OK. And then we want to do a quick scan. Let's just go ahead and do... What? Oh shoot, I hit that button. Whoops, I hit the wrong... I hit back instead of the F button. Alright, we're back at this screen and we want to do a quick scan, so we'll hit enter. Check the following condition before executing the test. Shift to park or neutral. Execute all DTC tests. Well, take some time. Yes, we want to execute this test. Alright, now it's scanning the airbag system. This should scan the airbag and the ABS system. So we'll give this a little time. Alright, so it already did the airbag system. It said pass, no faults. So now it's scanning the ABS system. We're showing one fault. Alright, let's go to the report. Airbag system passed, no faults. Right front wheel speed sensor, sensor open or short. These are the codes that he was getting the other day. Alright. Let's go back. Okay. Alright, and then we're going to go down here to this and we're going to hit erase. DTCs and freeze data will all be cleared. Yes. Clearing the codes. Trying to. Alright, now it says pass, no fault. We'll exit. Let's see if we can just go into the ABS control module and scan it on its own so we don't have to scan all of them. Okay. So in this section you can go in and look at the live data of the sensor. Showing 0 right now, which it probably should because we're stopped. We can play with this while we're driving. Go back. Let's go into read codes again and just make sure that no codes are in there. This dash, was it lit up like a Christmas tree with other
No.
things?
Just ABS code.
Just ABS one? Was it coming on just with the key to run or to on?
I don't remember. I just know it's been on.
Well, it's saying system pass, no fault found now. So we just did a scan. Let's go to live data and let's graph the. Let's just graph all or look at all 3 while we drive. So we'll select all 3, let this slow thing wait and load, and then we should see these numbers as we drive. Alright, so he started the car, and we're going to see what these things show when we get to moving. No codes yet, right? Up on the dash. Nice. Alright, and all the speed values look like they are matching pretty well.
Something's rattling.
I might not get the heat shield quite away from it. We'll find out. I had to bend it a little bit. That's why you always want to take a test drive. Seems like it's gone away now. Like the heat shield just was barely touching and now it's not. Now you hear it now.
Yeah, not great.
All right, these sensors look good, man. I'd say the dash doesn't have anything up there anymore, so we're good to go. All right, that wraps up fixing Jason's Accord. The ABS light is out, codes are cleared, and the new sensor is reading perfectly with the Foxwell. We also found the dust shield was just barely touching, moved it back, and now there's no more noise. Big thanks to Jason for letting me get my hands dirty on his car. If this video helped you out, give it a thumbs up, share your ABS stories in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more DIY Honda and Acura repair videos. See you in the next one.